Good morning, folks. It's 9:33 a.m. The sound of a crinkling bag just got moved out of the way. 9:33 a.m. on the 8th month, 3rd day, 2025. So what I'm doing first is verify I'm live. And that this sound is working. Yes, that's definitely me. Right, what do you see that looks odd here? Do you see the shape of a stop sign? I do. Do you see the squareness of this as well? This is the Geostorm. This is definitely Geoengineering. As you go in there, how many centers of circulation we have here? We have a testicle 1, testicle 2, and I don't know, maybe it's the stamp symbol on a coin. It's hard to tell. Yeah, where is the center of this storm? Is it this swastika here? Yeah, the swasticular cloud. I wonder what they'll call that one. Yes, we'll call this Storm Adolf. I don't know what the heck to do about this. I know that this is going to swing back around. It's going to wobble a little bit more towards shore before this thing goes on its way. But the waveform that's going to cause it not to go inland is already on its way, headed towards it now. Oh, this is a very interesting area. You got a ship out here, and I'll get back to that. As you can see, this one area of massive perturbation has been sending up catalysts and all sorts of EMF now for hours and hours and hours from this one spot. But I digress. I'm going to show that waveform that's coming off the coast. You see it fairly well. If I can move this a little faster. You see this hazy line here near the end that is coming across here? I can get it to go like this. You'll see it coming out to meet this storm from out here. Imagine that maybe even your ears popped, like he was coming down the mountain kind of a thing when some of these waveforms come through. And so I was noticing that because I'm waiting for what I call the steering beam to happen, and that's one of the first signs. So is the beam here will pop it back towards shore, and that one pops it back out, kind of like a pong, and this is the ball. Yeah, so we got to stay on the ball here. Look at this vortex here. So I'm going to do a few zoom-ins. And this one was at 6:50 a.m. It was about an hour and a half ago off your coast. So I want to go over a little bit of some of the geoengineering involved in sustaining a storm like this. And these catalysts were warm. I did a determining on that from using some heat, a sensitive thing. Look at this here. You're going to see a formation like this. Right here. It's a steering current, right? It'll come here and see this. You'll also notice this here as well. This is actually radar action from one of your shoreline ones. I'm not sure exactly where I'm at there. That looks like grafting. So it's beaming for sure. I can see its pulse wave right there. I'll go on and put the names on the map in a minute and verify everything. Well, you're better at your geography than me. You should be able to. I've also got a location here that's beaming. They may not be showing it very well on the radar feeds, but I can go through and map what your radars are doing. Another one here. And they almost always deploy some extra catalysts up. That's a hard beam going up. You know, I'm coming up here like that. I mean, you got a truck out there measuring weather? I'm not familiar with that station. And this is the way I start to map you out. Is look for the plasma lines. See where the pulses are going and what they're doing. Which way are they forcing flows. And so I can do a big determining of what trapped the totals through here. What's made that packet of cold air that you're going to experience over the next few days? What caused the snow? Yeah. Where was the air from the tropics up here allowed to come in? Where was it not? And it was all steered here to come in that direction through the back door of Brizzy. Almost like it skirted the mountains here, where you got Glass House where they're trying to dig a big make that mine even more ugly. So when you sell that as a place to go visit, you look at it and you go, what a fucking shame. How is this allowed? How are things allowed? And so I'm going to just go through some of the geoengineering you're going to see And some of these images, and that one's not very clear for me. Yeah, I can do a little bit better than that. So let's see exactly where some of these spots was. Some of the hot spots. Yeah, just north of Lismore. That's Gundle, Indiana. So let's see if we can actually pick up anything on the radar itself. Not much to see here for a place that's inundated with storms, right? Like it's almost like they turn the radar down, so you can't see what's being going on. Okay, so I prefer sometimes to just go with this visible one. And if I go back to where the sun was actually shining, to let the sun shine in, it was well, it was doing really nice earlier. I was getting a pretty good temperature difference, because that's what this is going to show me. Like that's at a high deck. That's at even, is this one higher or lower? I'll have to look. Because I can often tell what kind of catalyst has been deployed by the change in the temperature itself. Like I was picking up one coming across Adelaide down here that was warmer, but it was higher up. Where I'd be expecting to see colder temperatures, I was seeing warmer. And that was just when the chem was coming over, when it first started. Like that there, as it's starting, it's catalyzing, it's often can cause a temperature difference. I mean, where we get 5 and 43, because that's a higher cloud top with a different catalyst. And now nighttime's going to be harder to judge as some of these effects. But I did determine it was a hot catalyst, so it was most likely making a sulfate. Conditions are perfect with all that chem to see the aurora at fair far in lane. So you really got to zoom in on the catalyst itself to determine the differences. And that down there will be low deck. You see where there's no cloud. Somebody asked how do I read that. But I can very often see if that line, that thicker line, suddenly is warmer than the cloud mass around it, I know and something's been deployed, because the cloud is all in the same area. Okay, so why are those vapors warmer? They should actually get colder. They should freeze into an ice crystal sooner, more efficiently. Okay, so I have a lot of questions that we all deserve an honest answer. I look like a witch on a broom here riding. That's my imaginary. You say, would it be? Oh, it's headed towards that M8, or maybe it's Hawk 2 at time for the Rothschild step and boot. Who knows? We like to blame them, but really I have a feeling the computer outplayed them. In Perth area around here, you guys got some really bad storms that have been coming through here out over near the Kalgoorlie area that you do bear a warning on. I said they was going to happen the other day, but look at all these cascading crap and chem. Probably see it pretty well out here still because it's daylight hours. So let's put some chem names on. Child in the city, bzz, bzz, the fryer is on over there. You Lara. It's moving like helically. You see how the angle of it is? It's probably like going sideways in the sky at an angle, almost like the end of a combine. It combs the hay in front of itself before it does the cuttings. Yep. Bringing in the cheese. The sky smelling like a Mirkathara. I don't know what the hell name that is. Hey, Mount Magnet. You're being mounted. You're being magnetized. So let's see for some obvious geo stuff like this big crap that went pay here, this big vag-looking cloud with this square on top of it over at Kalgoorlie. Definitely geoengineered. And it's just horrendous, isn't it? Our ancestors will never be happy about this, ever, ever, ever. Because I'll tell you what, I saw an image over here I didn't like. It was nasty. It was bad. It was looking like your ancestor looking at you, saying, what in the fucking hell are you doing while you're sitting on your ass, while you're going along with things? See the big widespread nose and the chin and the eyes looking sad. There's all these chem bombs over here near Port Pine, Whyalla and Whakatala and Cowell and Schmowell and Wallaroo and fucking doo-doo skies. Look at that. We're looking over the 3-leaf clover. You're being bent over like Rover. Yes, you are. My gosh, look at this. Are you telling me that Those are chemtrails. That's not the myth. That's chemtrails. Somebody doing some sky writing, got some cloud seeding going on, cloud creation going on. Look how many chemtrails are in this one, over this body of beautiful, blessed water that we want to be our friend, but this is how we treat our friend. What is it? The water is sleepy. You draw on it as a joke. It's not funny when it's no longer sunny, is it? No, it is not. In the face of your ancestors looking at you right now. What a fucking shame. What a shame. Look at all this crap here. Hundreds and hundreds of miles of chemtrails going out into the desert. Hundreds of miles of toxified skies. Hundreds of miles of burning eyes. Hundreds of miles of fried, ionized skies. What a fucking shame. What a fucking shame. What, toasting marshmallows out here? Everything always supposed to be this straight edge, this square? But with engineering and architecture, it can very easily happen that way. We got the dingish. What a shame. What is that? Is that doing that? That was coordinates. In case you feel like being coordinated and working together and coordinating some with coordination, or trying to put the word unity in community or something, I don't know. With big scalar square right here. Right over the top of you there. Right where some of the heavier falls are going to come. What a fucking shame. Well, you guys are going to get battered along this coastline here. It ain't over yet. There's some very high surf, some very high winds, cold temperatures. And in general, you don't want to be traveling on the roads without checking local information to see, what roads are passable, or do you really need anything? Go to bed. That's what I feel like telling people sometimes. Just go to bed. Fucking scalar square over this national park. See the edgings? Double fried. Pulsation right here. Boo, boo, boo. An arc, an arc, an arc, and an arc. Don't take me too long to triangulate. Shrinky. Shrinky dinky doo. Is something gonna be shrinking out there? Yeah, your chesticles are gonna get hard. Pulse wave here. See the eyebrow beam? Or did Uncle Adolf drop his stash? Or do you see the blockhead in your imaginarium? I used to look up at the clouds as a kid and had imaginarium, and that's, I hope, never goes away, that part of me. But I know what geoengineering is, and I could point it out all day long. I had a big cloud come along here. It was big pulse. I got a picture of. Hopefully this will show up. I'm going to know in a minute. Right here, you'll see what I'm pointing at. There was a pulse that came off, and how it annihilated the condensates as it moved. Bzz, bzz, the double bzz. You see how it comes down, and it just was a flow line split. And that wasn't very nice to feel hitting the land, I imagine. Maybe even your ears popped. And I determined that came from a ship that's just off screen on this side here. Just off screen, I determined there was a ship. And let's see if we can pick up on its activity out here. Now it's now buried in under all this crap. It's been chemmed out of existence, acidified, toxified by the toxiflyers. So we'll go over to this spot here, which has been a hot spot for some kind of cloud brightening going on in this spot out here. In the middle of the Tasman Sea. See how that square is with all the lines pointing right at something? It's pointing right at something. And we deserve an honest answer of what it is. And it's not listed on a ship tracker. You'll never know. If it's military and they're having exercises and they're testing their new smokescreen technology, which makes clouds. Big square there, abomination. Look at it. There's a ship here. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. There's definitely one here. Another device there. That's why I wondered if there's a group of things out there, or are there big drones operating independent? Because look at the arc of influence of this here, right? Something was along like this, is like the edge of a pipe. Boom, 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 boom. And an explosion will make a shock ring. That'll do that. And then it's fizzing off, hazing it up. And you can have one craft, you're just floating on a big ass fucking balloon with a big ass thing on it, with runways. And drones taking off and coming back. It would pick up a payload and go and drop it and come back. Computer goes, yeah, dollar signs on the almighty dollar. Yeah, it's an easy thing to understand when you know that. If you look at the size of some of the balloons they used in the past, in a program known as Scope X. Now I typed in Scope X Couch Harvard. That's usually sufficient to come up with this couch group thing and an update on Scope X from 2024 in case somebody wanted to tell me this shit has been canceled. Yeah, you made me do a question, well, because you pointed out I was wrong. I went and I looked, and guess what? No, it has not. It's the Harvard clubs, the Salamaleka Institute over here, the Institute of Molecules. Perturbation. This isn't just about putting chemicals. It's studying the perturbations, documents of sustainability. You'll always see that word sustainability. But the pictures is what I want to get to, is the balloons themselves are very, very, very large. And you'll see these very often like this as this huge-ass crane. Yeah, the crane. I don't know what just happened there. This big crane. It's a big balloon. You could put a lot of stuff on this gondola over here, couldn't you? A lot of stuff. And you see the microwave emitters up here? So what I say is something is being directed and moving around. I'm talking about something like this, and this is called the Stratocruiser. And this is just some of my homework from the past. This is just information I know. And these things are very big, and they go up very high. Control perturbation experiments, and you'll look this up yourself. Why? Because you want to know stuff, right? Stuff I already know is stuff I already know. And this is the picture I wanted to get again. If we're lucky, we can get it to stay up there. It's just farting off all the time. It can put payloads, but I suspect things have come a long way since I first started studying this particular geoengineering method, which is what I would call the balloon method, as not the cloud brightening method. And cloud brightening would be different. Marine cloud brightening, and it actually uses ships. And it's pretty well known, this particular site from the Great Barrier Reef. It's just you sometimes, if it's in your backyard, you care more about it. But this device here just spraying stuff in the air, particulates, and we don't know exactly what it is. And look what kind of skies it yields. Look what kind of pictures happen from the result of where one of these ships is operating, like where I'm pointing at right here. This is what the sky would look like. And it's spraying it up, spraying it down. What the hell is in the barrel that's covered up over here? And do you actually test what's in the barrel? Do you actually trust that you yourself, if you were doing something nefarious that you didn't know you were doing, wouldn't be just killed off by these people? This is I'd play that, but I'll get in trouble. So you're going to go look this up, right? And I'm going to help you line your ass a little bit, because this is what I do best. I should just stick with what I do best. Nah, I'm one of the best researchers in the planet. And that means I have very informed opinions that have misting and fogging solutions. Just show you how they could do a whole fucking football field. Yeah, you Mr. Cowboy. God and the ancestors are going to have a talk with you. The ancestors are going to go first. And what's left of you, and that humpback there is going to have a talk with you. I ain't kidding me. Some people got some bad idea. Hey, let's reduce solar radiation management. We'll all have astroturf. We don't need lawns no more. And we don't need insects and worms and biospheres of smaller things that are so much greater than us. So much greater. Proposed, indecently done, indecently proposed on very vast scales. It's often done across this part of the world, like you'll see here. cloud brightening going on out here in the North Pacific. Just to give you an example of a proposal of something indecent that's going on. That's like the billionaire offering to pay you $1 million for fuck your missus, and he's already doing it. No more, no more. We the system's hard. And this is sickness mix. This is not healthy, this stuff here. This is the one that leads to the dissing of the ease of lungs. Burning of mucosal linings can allow pathogens in much more efficiently. The cull is on. Well, they say you got maybe, what are they calling it here? Razor blade throat. The shards of crystals that I picked up in the sky is horrible. The proposals of spraying diamond dust was done, and then we started picking up a twinkliness to some of our sunsets, and a bit more sun halos and refractive effects, as these masses of crystals in the sky can be clumped together in predictable ways, even in a prism. Yeah, you can reflect things oddly. What a fucking shame. Back to it. Let's just run it a minute, because I'm getting angry. Yeah, because my ancestor's voice will flow freely out of my mouth. All right, there she is. She's spinning, she's turning, she's whirling the dervish. She's kicking lots of chemtrails onto shore. The winds are going to be gusting right right through this corridor here. I'm expecting winds of 70 and 80 kilometers an hour still. And within 32 hours from now, this thing's going to have well calmed down and fucked off. But you got 32 hours of coming of some of the best surfing conditions that you'll have seen since that last big storm. Yeah, I gotta say, it's going to live up to it down there. And yeah, get to this corridor here. That's where your highest surf is still going to occur. But don't do nothing stupid like get out on the roads and get yourself killed. Right? Don't do nothing stupid like that. Yeah, and if you don't know what you're doing, don't be going out surfing out there today or tomorrow. And maybe even the next day. And it's okay to learn somewhere to be safe. And learn local etiquette before you go out there. Talk to somebody. Don't do nothing stupid like spear someone with your board without filming it. Hey Tazzy, how you doing there? Coming up there at looks like through the morning and afternoon hours of Tuesday. You got a little bit of a Smackington coming, decent breeze, decent totals, a little bit of wintry mix in the overnight hours and higher elevations for you coming. Isn't that nice to know? Hey, am I getting to the point where I can almost slow down on weather for a couple of days and get some freaking sleep and be up at 2 a.m.? Hey, somebody's got to ease the ease that's being wound up by our barrels. Yeah, it's definitely been windy out there for you guys out here. You definitely got set up by the EMF a couple of days ago. It looks like a little bit of a lapse there. Let's get rid of that particular thing. So you're going to look up your own homework, won't you? Marine cloud brightening, scope X Harvard, Geoengineering. Yeah, get a bit wet and moist over there, Adelaide. Coming there. Well, it looks like the overnight hours again. Another bit of a lightning show for you. Overnight Monday and into Tuesday AM hours. And you're giving your rest of your sky sharks over to Smallburn to have double sniff of the chemtrails. Because I'm not going to go through too much. In New Zealand, you got a couple days break, which means I get a couple days break from you. It was bad enough to have seen all that influence of clouds off your coast. And look at this chem here. This is about as geoengineered as I can get. And I showed you that. I haven't showed you the center of the storm really in motion yet. So let's do that. Very square there, isn't it? Wouldn't you say? It's square, it's geoengineered. Boom, boom, plume, plume. They keep shooting bombs north into that center of that rectangle there. Wouldn't you say? Would you say that? I ain't kidding, man. I'm trying to describe colors to the blind over here. And I don't want to stick anybody's hand on the stove. And I'm not going to stick a hand on the stove and say, this is what cold is. You see this rectangle here of energy? It's a plasma that just stays blown out in that one spot. That's geodis hot. That's a pan and beam. A pulse that actually nudges it nudges this line here. When it influences it, it just smacks it and moves it around like an anvil, or hands on a table, as I often describe. And you have four people on a corner of a table. Everybody's got their hands on it. Well, one of you moves your hands off, the table will begin to spin, won't it? You could, by altering pressures and nudges, you can move it anywhere you want. Well, I think they're moving the Ouija board around today, and the spooks showed up over y'all. You look at the pulsar graph, and it's just a slam bust on their radar too. They can turn off showing us on the actual NextRad radar feed that their NextRads are influencing the weather, but you ain't hiding it. You see it right here, Mr. Squiggles. So you can even see it. Look at the beam shot up here. It's right from about there. There, there, and there. They cut that flow right off, and then you had a beam come from north to there down. You see from here, 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 here. So as this runs into this line of stuff, it gets a little resistance, you know, like barriers and rubber bands. If you ran through them, eventually you'd stop. Well, it's kind of like that, but it's not, but it is. Eventually I'll start to explain things like, how is this like an R stroke with J? So you start doing J strokes, things like this, like you would do with a canoe, and you might understand how they can move what's coming up with that by taking EMF and doing. Look at the curve here. It's an eyebrow beam, not a bell end. I know Higgins, you can hardly resist. You can hardly resist drawing dirty things sometimes. What I'm finding interesting about here is this one pulsation of a bomb. Let me see if we can back some of these lines up. Right over here, just south and east of Warwick. Look at this here, in that area here. You got a radar truck here? If not, you have a balloon in the air perturbing and using microwaves right over the top of you, Warwick. It's showing right in the clouds right here. And that's going to pin some of the winds towards Tweed. So if you wonder why you got some decent totals in the valley here, look at the chemtrails over the top of you, right here, Mullum and all that. See it? So either you have a radar truck that's measuring the storm, or you have a balloon popping by that has a perturbation device on it, and you guys got bombed. Your beautiful, pristine forests are not as organic as you think. Yep, yeah, it's a fell wind sometimes. That's what I see going on there. I kind of showed you what's going on. Did I tell you the rest of the totals you got coming? It's only a couple of centimeters to go in here. It's the wind and the temperatures are going to be want things to know. And for the people that really want to know about the waves, we can do them now too. Yeah, look at the bite. Ooh, 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 right on shore. Yeah, but ain't nothing. Ain't nothing. This is where you want to be. Coming on. I think it was right about here. It's soon. One of the biggest waves you're going to hit. Some of the biggest surfs are about to hit right now in this corridor. Now's the time. Now's the time. It's gonna last through the daylight hours tomorrow. Right here we're at 12 lunchtime, sitting with 5 meter waves, and the swell is probably going to be another 3 to 4 meters on top. And so this is going to be professional onlys out there when you got these 30-foot monster waves crashing the shores here, all the way from Newcastle up through Brizzy. It's going to be colossal, absolutely epic. And so I am very happy to be able to tell you that that is going to occur. It's happening. It's fucking happening. Yeah. Come on. Where is the main? I think they're still going to go a little north of you here, Wolgooga. Look at Byron. Look at Brunswick. It is. I'm telling you, but this is where it had to happen. It just had to. It just had to. These are the swells. And tap the biggest swells all along here. Goldie, Surfer's Paradise, gonna live up to his fucking name. Look at this shit out here. Oh my. Kingscliff. Hey Haley, stay the hell away from the shore for the next 36 hours, or I'm never ever gonna play Sweet Caroline for you ever again. And don't give your mom any crap. It's because we love you that I had to say that in advance. That's right. You are now banned from the shoreline for 32 hours. Rogue waves to be expected. So don't be out there just walking around like an idiot. This is not the time for that. And some of these winds that are going to hit some of these cliffs are going to be very, very gusty. Gusty, 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 gusty. Yeah, 53 kilometer an hour is enough to take the flying none off the side of the convent and all sort of a thing. And look at some of what's coming along this through here. And I know there's a main road through here. So watch your high-sided vehicles, campers and stuff as you're, well, if you're out there in the overnight hours doing shit like that, you're an idiot. But this here is about 4 o'clock in the morning, your time, with the 70 plus mile an hour gusts of wind. That's what this is, gusts. And that concerns me the most. So even down through the valley and all that, you can expect that Uki and all that, where some of the rickety shacks out in the woods where my friends live, you might want to put some tie straps down over the top and stake them down. Hey, whatever it takes, man. There's a dingus. I saw the dingus up there always testicularly challenged. Yeah, it's a big gash of wind over there to be expected. But you got this. This thing's almost over, right? I can maybe, my mind will go to rest. Forever sleep. I can't just disapparate like Yoda did when Luke asked one question too many. Oh, I'm out of here. Not good at all. Very, very windy. Very, very windy. Very, very wet. New snows wise, nothing you couldn't handle. All surprised you're getting snow in wintertime. You surprised it gets snow after I tell you it's going to snow? You're an idiot. The only one that's got any good, decent snows on the way is Tassie, right? And that's coming fair quick. During that batch that comes over late Tuesday through Wednesday. Right, so you ain't gonna be traveling up the spine of that country from that direction, are you? With great ease, or enjoy it. Sleigh bells ring, you know. Doesn't have to be Christmas to enjoy the sleigh bells. Right? You have to have snow to really enjoy them. So that's what we got today, and that's what you're going to contend with. And I'm fucking out of here because I'm so tired of looking at chemtrails. I'm so tired of people not answering the call of their ancestors when their ancestors are clearly looking at them right in the eye saying, what in the fuck are you doing? What is your legacy? You say you love the land? Show it. And then they'll know it. That's the message from the ancestors today. That and stop masturbating and get up and do something. Peace. Yeah, you stop.